Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Reading. I'm an assistant to Dr. Gary and welcome to CRDR, Comic Reviews with Dr. Reading. What do we got today? Well, here you go.
Title and author.
Today's comic we are reviewing is Trees by, wait a minute, Warren Ellis and Jason Howard? Why does that sound familiar? Oh wait, that's right. They were in the last review that I did. So this is another sci-fi work by them, so hope you enjoy it.
Publication date.
This was published in first published in May of 2014.
Comic rating.
Now, unlike the previous comic that I read, that was, I'd say, rated T for teen, this comic is rated M for mature. There is violence, there's also some nudity and some adult themes, so please read responsibly. If you're a fan of Cemetery Beach, I think you'll like this one also, but like I said, please make sure you read don't let anyone who is not 18 or older read this, because, yeah, very mature themes.
How I learned about the comic.
I think when I got another comic flyer, it advertised this comic series, so I thought I'd give it a try out.
The plot.
Alright, so for me, this review is kind of a first impressions review, because I only read the first book. And the first story seemed to be divided into three different segments. Segment 1 was focusing on scientists studying these... Okay, so the overall plot is that many years ago, aliens dropped these tall spires down onto the Earth in random spots. It changed the geography, the borderlines, geopolitical, and ever since then they left. So now the story currently from the first volume I read was divided between scientists trying to analyze the weird plants around some of the trees. The towers are called trees. The second one is how a country is declaring war / independence and using a tree as a weapon. And the third one is about a young man in China who is discovering himself and meeting other people also in China. Like I said, this was the first volume, so I'm not really sure where the story went from there, but I can tell you how some things, how a lot of stuff drastically changed by the end of the story.
The good, the bad, and the info.
As I mentioned, the story was split 3 ways for this first collection book that I read. And as I also said, it's also from the previous people I reviewed for Cemetery Beach. The art is interesting, and as I said, it is rated M for mature, so just make sure your kids don't read it, but I read this, and while I am a fan of science fiction, I wasn't quite a fan of this story. I mean, I read it, and there was some stuff I found okay, but it just seemed to be stretching itself all over the place, and it's like, okay, they're doing another serious sci-fi thing. I get that now, but I'm trying to figure out, I can't remember which order I read first, if Cemetery Beach and then Trees, or Trees and then Cemetery Beach. Yeah, it was a really interesting read.
Score out of 7 stars.
I give, for my first impression of Trees, I give it 3 stars. It was okay. I mean, like I said, if you're a fan of science fiction, and if you're a fan of the work that these two guys have done before, like I said with Cemetery Beach, I think you'll like it. But for me, I read it and I just couldn't really get into the story. So yeah, I mean, I bought the first volume. It was a collection of some of the comics, and I was like, okay, there's other volumes, so guess I don't have to buy those. Yeah, so read if you're into science fiction heavily and want to see a new take on it from the guys behind Cemetery Beach, then yeah, go ahead and hopefully you enjoy it. It ain't for everyone, but hey, you're here, you're watching my channel, I think you'd appreciate it, so there's my take on it. And that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you for watching, and until next time, this has been CRDR, Comic Reviews with Dr. Reading. Thank you very much, and happy reading.